Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Andrew Spirit, and I'm a spiritual development teacher, energy healer, and psychic medium. And every Sunday, roughly between the afternoon or early evening, I've started doing a live on YouTube as well. It's basically for Q&A, information exchange, sharing, thought exchanges. And I'm basically taking your questions about spirit guides, angels, psychic mediums, how I work with spirit, anything along the lines of spiritual development. And I welcome any questions you may have. I'll do my best to answer as many as possible and share with you whatever I can, whatever I do know. There may be a few exceptions, for example, tarot and crystals, which I do not use or work with. But for the most part, I think I should be able to either answer your questions. If not, I do know a lot of other experienced healers, mediums, and other that I can possibly put you in touch with that will be able to help if I'm not able to myself. But so basically, we've been doing this for about 3 weeks now on YouTube. So it's hasn't quite picked up yet, but once the group gets larger, it may evolve a little bit. I may include a little bit more psychic work. I'm not sure if it's going to involve messages like I do on Thursday evenings on Facebook. And for those of you who are new tuning in and don't know me or what I do lives on Facebook where I offer psychic messages from spirit to various people that are tuning in. It's done randomly. I don't pick and choose who I go to. It's done in divine order, so I'm just guided. So that's Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook. I've posted my website in the comments field as well if you'd like to know more about me and what I do. And basically, this is your chance to ask me questions about spiritual development. And like I said, I'll do my best to help you. And we'll just go from there. So for those of you tuning in, just go ahead, ask your questions. I'll stay online for a little while and see how it goes. Sometimes it's slow going on Sundays. And due to the nature of Sundays and what I may be doing or where I'll be working, I don't have a set time every Sunday, but roughly it's usually later in the afternoon or earlier in the evening, more or less. So that's about as close as I can pinpoint for you, but at least Thursdays are fixed, 7 p.m. every Thursday. So feel free to check me out and fire away with your questions. So this session is for Q&A, spiritual development, guides, angels. I'm not doing psychic messages in this particular live. This is more for info sharing, info exchange. So if there's anything you would like to ask, just post your question in the comments field. I'll do my best to answer it. And I've had questions, anything from spirit guides and angels to, I've even had one question about alien interactions, tools of divination, how I work with my abilities, anything along those lines. I'll do my best to answer your questions. My website's in the comments field if you'd like to learn more about what I do. So please invite like-minded friends to join in on Sundays. Every Sunday on YouTube, early, like I said, late afternoon, early evenings. I don't have a set time because that'll vary, but the Thursdays are always at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the Thursdays are for psychic messages. For those, some of those who are tuning in, that's done by divine order. So Spirit just guides me randomly to certain people to give messages to. But for now, I'm just taking questions. So if you have any questions along the lines of spiritual development, just post in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And I'll remain online for a little while and just see how it goes. It's only been going for 3-4 weeks now. So some Sundays are slower than others. Hi, Marilyn. Nice to see you. Okay, wow, that's a pretty detailed question. So Schumann resonance, not an expert. I have friends who know more about it than I do, but what I do know from them is the Schumann resonance is basically connected to the frequency of the planet, Earth's vibration. Don't know. I can find out more about it if you like. Only thing I know about it is it's basically the planet's vibration, and the Schumann resonance does fluctuate. It's changing depending on what's going on with the planet itself, the evolution of people on the planet, and other things that are taking place on the planet. With regards to solar flares, for me seem to be fairly random. I intentionally do not follow things like retrogrades and solar flares. I basically make a point of not observing when they're coming, when the next ones are, basically just to keep it out of my mind. If it's going to hit me and affect me, it will. I can't do a lot about that, but I try not to give it any of my attention and just deal with it on a daily basis should it affect me. Most of my friends, we seem to get affected differently. We don't always feel the challenges of the energetic shifts and changes at the same time. So I'm not in sync with some of my other healer medium friends. Sometimes they feel it before I do. Some of them feel it to a worse degree than I do, and they take longer to recover, depending on how sensitive and empathic they are and how connected they are to the vibration of the planet. So me, for example, I'm not a true empath, so I don't feel like a really strong, true empathic person does, which I'm not complaining about. So I don't get the full brunt of it. The odd occasion where I am put off my feet tends to last maximum of about 36 hours before I'm more or less getting back to normal. So it's not too bad. Others can have it for days. I don't get it often, but like I said, I can't find a rhyme or reason or a set pattern to it. So for me personally, it seems to come down to your personal evolution. That's why I think we're affected differently, depending where your vibration is at and how you are evolving. I think that has a direct impact on how strongly or severely you feel solar flares, retrogrades, energy shifts. I think it just depends on where you're at vibrationally, how your vibration interacts with vibrations off the planet that are affecting the planet. That's basically my take on that. And as for how to adapt, so some of my friends that have it to an extreme degree, they don't really have a lot of choice. They're forced to just basically rest and sleep it off, stay indoors, avoid crowds and activities, because that seems to either drain them even more. So they're literally forced to just rest, surrender, and do nothing until the energy replenishes. For me, I basically, similar, if it knocks me off my feet, I'm lay down, and I find the best thing is just to surrender. Surrender, listen to your physical body, especially. If the body decides it's not cooperating or it needs resting or recharging, do not force it with any stimulants, any drinks or things that will give you an energy boost, but then give you a crash afterwards. Just basically don't change your diet or anything you're doing, maybe just more fluids, but surrendering is the best thing you can do. Listening to your body, its circadian rhythms. Like for example, we're getting into winter, so we need more rest. So surrender and listen to the body. That's my advice for what you can do to adapt. You could also use visualization techniques to protect and build make your auric field stronger. Put a shield or force field around you in your house. Strengthen it. Literally, your intention is what creates and manifests things. Use your energy and your intention to strengthen your force field, to put barriers around you, to protect you. Sage, smudge, even certain crystals you can have in and around your house that will help you block and regulate the energy. Do that as best you can, and then divine order will decide on how the rest goes and how you adapt. But those are my suggestions. I hope that was enough to help you out. And I'm just going to follow through with your next question. Sleep patterns being affected. Yeah, me as well. If I'm knocked off my feet. When I get I basically am forced to lay down on my back. My appetite disappears completely. I cannot eat at all. And sometimes this can go on for an entire 36 hours. I've had bouts where I couldn't eat anything for 24 to 36 hours. I may be able to physically get up to go to the washroom, have maybe a sip or two of water, and then crash again. And for me, that's unusual. My metabolism is hypermetabolic, so I aim and try to eat 2,400 calories a day because I need to. I'm about 5'11". My metabolism, I'm very active. So I need to try and get 2,400 calories in me every day. And when I'm in that state, I can't get in. I'm lucky if I can eat 3 or 4 blueberries or half a slice of pineapple. So I'm literally out of commission. I don't even drink. So my sleep pattern, it's like having zero energy. I sleep and I sleep and I sleep. I get up to use the washroom and then I crash again. So my friends are similar. You're basically forced to physically stop and rest. If you try and push the body with the help of external things, whether it's any kind of stimulant or energy drink, you may get away with it short term, but eventually your body is still going to require the rest it originally wanted, and it'll catch up to you. So with regards to your third question, when my gifts developed, my periods of exhaustion were not long, so I bounced back quickly. I can, for example, stand up and do 2-3 hours of gallery readings amongst a group of people, and by next morning I'm pretty much getting back to normal again. So I'm fortunate where I don't suffer the energy drain a lot, but I do put a few things in place before. So I always call in my powerhouse, my team. So archangels, my gatekeeper. I put a bubble around my energy. I protect my energy space. When I'm done with the gallery readings, when I remember, I disconnect and try and cut all the cords from that energy exchange that I had. And there was something else. Also because I enjoy doing what I do when I'm engaged, and the deeper I'm into spirit, I think it's because I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm feeling very gratified and fulfilled. I don't feel exhausted or drained at all. I just keep going because I enjoy it so much. Afterwards, a little bit tired, but never for a week at a time, maybe a day. So for me, I don't get too much of an energy drain, but I do a lot of work on my physical body to keep it in shape. I'm a bit of a health nut. So I've been working. I'm still got some way to go, but I am very health conscious. So because of the activity I do hard physical activity 5 days a week. So I need to have the right fuel in me. It's kind of like I need to have premium fuel instead of, like, for example, diesel. If I put garbage in me, my performance is going to go down. I'm not going to get the activities done I need to do. So I've learned to put high vibrational foods in me. And as you evolve, I've noticed with a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of healers and mediums, their bodies start to reject lower grade levels of food. The vibrations are too far apart. They don't work for each other anymore. So I literally cannot handle what I used to be able to eat years ago because my body just rejects it. It does not, gets unhappy. My body tells me, gives me a feeling. So that's what my body does. For example, I can only cook with coconut oil, avocado oil. I cannot eat deep fried foods. Or I probably could, but it doesn't really work well for me. Very, very minimal sugar. I actually despise sugar now because I know a lot more about what it does and how it affects my body. So for me, sugar is like honey or maple syrup if I need to, but it's at a minimal. So I'm very particular about the foods I eat, but I need to be just because of, so I push my body. I do push my body physically. I have a need to physically exhaust myself to help me relax more. Not sure why, but I don't know if that's a male thing or in general, but for me, I feel better once I've gone to the gym for an hour and exhausted myself. Where I'm sometimes even walking slower or kind of feeling the ache in the body. I need to exhaust physically to feel better and recharge. Strange as that sounds, I guess I've always been that way. But as for satisfying hunger, that has a lot to do with what you're eating and the grade or the quality of the food. So you could be eating, for example, there's something called empty calories. So calories that have been stripped of nutrition that are just like fillers. That's very common. One of the hardest things to wean yourself off of, and one of the most addictive things, are sugar and white flour, any kind of white flour, because the white flour has been stripped of the oil, the nutrition. It's like whole grain. If you had if you kept all three parts of the wheat grain, you'd have the oil in it and all the nutrition. But because oil gets rancid quickly, they strip out two of the three parts of the grain, and they leave that white refined stuff because it's smooth, it has a nice texture, it's easy to eat, but it's empty. It's like an empty calorie. So it all depends on what you put into your body. So you can fill it up with empty calories, but if you're not getting the minerals, and I've also noticed recently, learning slowly through trial and error, electrolytes and minerals, you need those, especially if you're active. So if you're gluten-free, that's not a bad thing. So basically, it just depends what you put into your body. It's just getting used to putting in the right fuel for your body and getting used to it. I mean, food, certain things are addictive to us, but it's just about what you're putting in. So the physical body ties in with your energetic body, your emotional body, your mental body. So if one's not working well, it will impact the others. If you think about trying to meditate when you're feeling physically ill, it's very, very difficult. So all the bodies tie in with each other. So if there's anything you want further clarification on, just put it in the comments. I hope that's kind of given enough detailed information, but if you want more, just fire away, because it seems to be going pretty slow today. No one else is on asking questions. So yeah, if there's anything else along those lines, energetically, and like I said, when I'm feeling physically well, I'm able to do my spiritual stuff much easier. Physical body's tied in with the other body, so it all makes sense. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so everything is vibration, everything is energy, from food, water, everything's energy. So whatever you give your attention to and put in and on your body is going to impact your vibration, every little thing. So, oh, hi, Joanne. Nice to see you on. I don't actually stargaze, and I can't even identify stars from planets. That's how untrained I am. And I guess the city I live in, the night sky, the view is not the best. It's not the cleanest, but yeah, the meteor shower is set to peak. So for me, as I mentioned earlier, some of us get affected before a meteor shower or a solar flare, some during, some after. I find each healer or medium or person is different. And as I was saying earlier, it depends on where your vibration is at in relation to the energy of the shower or the solar flare. So sometimes it overlaps. You kind of, some of us tend to kind of more or less feel it at a similar time, but it's not always exact, I find personally. But I'm not a true empath, so I don't get the worst of it. But there seems to be more solar flares and showers and that than there used to be, unless we're just more aware of them now. It seems to be more and more each year, but that could be also just due to awareness and our evolution. Our energy is changing all the time, so who knows what it's going to feel like in 5 years from now. It just keeps going, right? So I'm not okay. Sometimes I get a little bit of a freeze, so I'm not sure if you're hearing my voice consistently or if there's interruptions. sometimes even the time on my live is freezing. So I don't know if this is a nice smooth live stream or if there's interruptions. If there is, let me know, because the photo and the live seems good. It's just sometimes the time freezes, and I'm not even sure how many people are on at a time. So, okay, Marilyn, you have a good stream, so thanks for confirming that. That's a good sign, because you're a different province from me, so that means it must be pretty decent. Okay. And if you wouldn't mind, while I'm on here, sharing and mentioning to anybody else who would like to either join in the Q&As on Sundays and or the lives on Thursdays, please, you could even forward them this live when it's done, or just send them my Facebook link page, or both. I put my website on the top of the comments, but I didn't save my Facebook link, so I haven't posted that in, but you can connect to it from my website. But I'm trying to get through to reach as many people as I can and help answer their questions. Thanks for sharing it, Marilyn. Okay. So yeah, just trying to, same as the live, reach as many people as I can, answer some questions. Only little catch on Sundays is the times will always be different, because Sundays is weekend, things happen, there's events going on, or I'm working or whatever. So I aim for later in the afternoon to early evening, more or less. So like I said, not an exact time, but aim for that. And at least there's the replay as well. I don't know if YouTube even has notifications when I go live. I don't know if that works with other people's. So if you're subscribed to my channel, I'm not sure if you did get a notification as soon as I went on live. If you do, let me know, because I'm not as familiar with YouTube as Facebook. But yeah, I encourage your questions. So if I can't answer them, like I said, I do have resources and a lot of friends who can. So I got a whole tribe of people like me that have their own flavor and gifts and specialities and knowledge. So astrology is another thing that I'm finding more and more interesting, but I know very little about. So if there's anything you'd like to know, I know people as well, so I can certainly help you with that, or anybody else you know is looking for some answers. Okay. Oh, while I'm on it, you two have probably already seen or heard of my book, Simply Spirit. So that's what it looks like. Available online, Amazon and Balboa and a few other places. So that's got a Q&A at the back of the book when I was practicing my channeling during my early days. It's got about 30 questions and answers. And each chapter is a unique topic. So you can start the middle of the book, the beginning of the book, the end of the book. Doesn't really matter. So if you're looking for a stocking stuffer or last minute Christmas gift, or anybody else's, the link is available on my website as well to that book. Let's just look at your question here. Okay, so it does send notifications for subscribers. It will send notifications and set it up to get to them. Okay. Okay, so the notifications are available. Okay, thanks for that. I'm glad that works. Excellent. Okay. I also do have Instagram, but I'm not very, very active. I find too many different platforms can be a bit much for me, but I have an Instagram account. There are posts and things on there. I'm just not on there as much. So I have Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So you might find something. I find Instagram once in a while has some interesting stuff. I'm just not on there a lot. But the links are all available from my personal page, the Andrew Spirit personal page. They might be available from my website as well. I'm not sure if the Instagram is also reachable from my website, but if you're interested or want to take a look at that, and I know Instagram you can follow, so I'm not even sure. I can't even tell how many people are on the live at the moment. the time and the number of people watching freezes, so I literally don't know if there's 2 people on or 5 people. Not sure, but not really relevant. I guess it doesn't matter. But okay. Okay, excellent. Okay, thanks for that. So yeah, I know there's at least 2 of you on. I'm only seeing 1, but not a big deal, I guess, not important. Okay, so I'll stay on a little bit longer and to see if you have any more final questions. I know it's a Sunday and people are doing their thing, and I guess Sunday is either the relaxed time or visiting friends or whatever it is you like to do. But I'll be on for a little bit longer and just to see if anybody else jumps on. And like I said, any other questions? If you think of questions further down or in the next few days, you can either save them for the next time, or you could send them to me, message me, and whenever I get a gap, I will try and jump in and answer them as well. So since this is new, we're just kind of feeling out how it's going to all work. But I guess it's the same as the live. You've got to start off somewhere, and then when it grows a lot bigger, I may be encouraged to include other things on the Q&A session as well. Who knows? Okay. I was just wondering about groups. That just came to mind, spiritual development groups. I mean, there's a lot of them on Facebook. I mean, quite a few of them. I'm wondering if there are any more that you think would be useful for me to join. I know, Marilyn, I know you're out of province, so certain groups like to just have people from within their area. But if you know of anybody who would like to connect, or other groups that are looking for outside people, let me know and I can take a look and see what's going on. But I like to kind of get around and about and connect with people all over the place. Like, I like to reach people all over the planet. So that's why I love the Thursday so much. We have people from all over the world tuning in. Yeah, groups are coming up. And getting back to some of the earlier questions about healing and rest, in about another 10 days or so, roughly, we're going to officially start the beginning of winter. So it is kind of hibernation time if you follow the old ways, the circadian rhythms. Winter is a time for resting and slowing down. So your energy will be different in the colder months. That's when you kind of have to warm up, eat warmer foods, rest more, relax more, less strenuous activities, etc. generally. But unless you're going on a cruise vacation from winter into summer, but that's just temporary. So yeah, like I said, remember to surrender, listen to the body, because if you do not listen to the body, if you do that for too long, too many years, eventually something will give. So I know it's hard to get the first time, second, third time. Same with me. Eventually I get it and listen, but I don't do it the first or second time. But I find the best is to just go with the flow, go with the energy. So if things seem slower or more boring, for example, just enjoy the slowness and having less pressure or being less rushed. Your energy will pick up when the weather changes again. So however it works for you, we're all different. So some of us are more active at night or during the colder months. Luminotherapy. I haven't tried that before. Actually, that brings another question to mind. I have, how do you find the lighting when you're watching my lives, whether it's Thursday night or right now? Is the lighting in the background bright enough? Is the image? I'm using an internal camera. It's the one that's with my laptop. I had a really good external camera, and it mysteriously just shut down and broke and just stopped working. So it was a better camera. Now I'm stuck with the laptop camera for now for a little bit. So I'm wondering if the picture quality and the lighting is good enough. And sometimes I like sitting here in my living room and the lighting is not fantastic. I don't have a ceiling light, so I'm relying on a little lamp on the other side of the room and a little stand-up lamp to the side. So it's not super bright. So I'm just wondering if there's anything I can do to improve that as well. But I will try and look into luminotherapy as well. And it looks like we've got one or two other people. Okay, thanks, Marilyn. So the lives, the image is not super clear. Okay. So I think eventually I may have to get I do my lives from my laptop. I may have to change that and start doing it from get a better phone as well. Laptop has some limitations I've noticed. Okay, and the camera may be just not the best either. Okay, so for whoever else has jumped on, got a few more people on. This is Sunday Lives. This is more of a Q&A info exchange, information sharing. So any questions about spiritual development, guides, energy, psychic mediums, healings, and whatever else you can think of, just put your questions in the comments and I'll answer as many as I can. And if I'm unable to, I will connect with one of my friends who can and get the information to you as soon as I can. So this is questions, information sharing, thought exchange. Thursdays I do lives on Facebook, psychic messages from spirit. But Sundays will be just for Q&A for now. As it gets bigger, the group evolves. We may include new and other things as well. Sundays on YouTube will always be somewhere between later in the afternoon, early evening. There's no set time. But if you subscribe, you should get a notification whenever I go live on YouTube. So post a comment or a question if you'd like, just so I can see who's online. Say hi. Feel free to take a look at some of the questions in the comments. Maybe watch the replay if you'd like to just hear about the information that I've already shared. And like I said, anything about energy, and energy affects so many different things: energy body, emotional body, physical body. So this is your chance to ask me questions. And every Sunday will be YouTube. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be Facebook. Okay, next question here. So Marilyn, with me, initially in the very beginning, I had to close my eyes. And the reason for that was just to block out physical distraction, just to help my focus. So it's not essential whether your eyes are open or closed, but in the beginning, it helped me just to shut out distractions. As I got better at it, I was able to leave my eyes open and focus enough anyway. So when I am doing the lives, I zone out from my physical eyes and I just focus. My eyes stay open, but I'm focusing on my third eye. So if I'm just focusing on that and going with that and responding from that, my eyes can be open because I'm not really paying too much attention to what I'm looking what I'm looking at. In addition, also for the Thursday lives in particular, my eyes have to be open because I've got to watch all the names moving up on the news feed. So because it's that much more challenging with so many people, the names are continually moving, the comments are moving. So I've got to scroll and follow through and see where I'm drawn to. All I'm getting is a name. The photos are so small and sometimes people don't have their pictures. So I'm not really getting much off an image. I'm just using their name and I have to watch which name I'm drawn to. And sometimes I get drawn to their particular question. So my eyes have to be open. But with practice, I managed to do it with my eyes open. So you could too with time. for me, it's all about just focusing and being not being distracted. Okay. Okay, Joanne. Yes, Joe. I saw my friend Yabit yesterday. I was up in Smith Falls. So he mentioned you'd contacted him, and he had a good chat with you. So he's a very, very different healer to me. Different experiences, different abilities. So he, I think, has also had personal experiences similar to yours. So yeah, like I said, I know people who know and can do things that I don't. We all work uniquely and differently. So we have different talents and abilities, but when we pull them together, we can pretty much be very resourceful to people who have questions, who need some answers. So for anybody else watching, this is your chance. The lives on Sunday are for Q&A. If you have questions or want to exchange information, info sharing about spiritual development, spiritualism, energy, guides, spirit, psychic messages, psychic mediums, here's your chance to ask. I'll be on every Sunday. If you follow me on Facebook, I aim to at least give a couple hours notice, or at least an hour or more where possible, as to when I'm going to go live, because it will either be sometime between late afternoon, early evening. So follow me on Facebook. My website is posted in the top of the comments. If you click on that, there'll be a link to my Facebook page, and you can find out more about me from my website, and also on Facebook about what I do and the other services I offer. I do offer one-on-one private readings and energy healings as well. I also mentor. I do one-on-one mentoring for spiritual development as well. So if any of that interests you, or anybody you know is looking for some help, I'd love to help them out. Send them my way. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. And I've already mentioned my book. I have a book out there online for anybody looking for a spiritual read. It's not a very thick book. It's a fairly easy read. I've had a lot of good feedback. There are reviews online. People have found it very informative and helpful. So basically, share with anyone you think is interested, and hope you can join me on Thursdays whenever you have a gap, or when if possible. I think it looks like that's it for this afternoon. But it'll take a while for the group to get bigger. We're just going to get more people aware. That's the thing. Same as the live that I started a few years ago. Once it grows, I'm looking forward to throwing in other things, new offerings. I enjoy mentoring and sharing information as well. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to call it a day for now. Unless anybody has any, I'll stand for another couple of minutes, minute or two, if any of you have any final questions, anything you're stuck with. If you can think of any other suggestions, topics, send them my way, and I'll think about them and see if I can bring them up or mention them next time. Can't think of anything. Nothing seems to be coming out right now, so I guess that's a sign that things are good. Let's see. In your energy. Okay, Marilyn, in my energy healing sessions, can you target an issue from someone's past childhood, or is it more intuitive work? Okay, that's a good question. So because I don't do as many energy healings as I do readings. So for me, I think it's more intuitive work. So the initial intention is for energy healing, which can have side effects, for example, which can impact physical healing as well. It can also, primarily, it works on healing the energetic body, unblocking energetic blockages. It can have good physical impacts and alleviate or remove physical discomforts. It's been known to do that, but it's not guaranteed. As for targeting an issue from childhood, it's rare. I think it has come up. I've picked it up a few times, not a lot, but it can happen. It's just not guaranteed. So I can certainly ask. I always do, actually, when I'm doing a healing session. I always throw in and say, if there's anything I need to know to relate to the person, give it to me, any messages, intuitive, So I always ask spirit or guides that while I'm channeling their healing energy to you, I ask them if there's any information they want me to share. So I'm always open to that, and I do ask. So it doesn't always come up. So I can't say yes for sure. I can guarantee you I'll pick up something from your childhood, but sometimes I've picked up things and I've mentioned it to the client and they've confirmed, oh yeah, this happened when I was younger or this age and I have this issue, blah, blah, blah. So I do pick up things sometimes. It works with basically divine order. So if I'm meant to pick up something, it'll come through. Because like I said, the primary focus is energetic healing. Past life regressions, I have experienced some of them myself. I very rarely, it's been a while since I've actually conducted a past life regression. So I can do them. It's just been a while since I have done them. I get very few requests for them. Maybe it's just certain people are drawn to me for certain things, but past life regressions can be very helpful. So they can pick up things that you've carried in your cellular memory from 3 lifetimes ago, 4, who knows what else. But I found them helpful. Once I'd done a couple, I got to the point where I felt I didn't really need them. My healing wasn't that deep anymore. I'd kind of gotten through the worst of it. But they can be very, very helpful. So Marilyn, I don't know if you've ever tried past life regression. That and hypnotherapy, hypnosis, are 2 very powerful things that may work for you depending on what it is you're looking for. So that can, the past childhood stuff can also come up in a general reading, but sometimes you have to experiment and try a few different techniques. And maybe sometimes you might need a specialist in one area. For example, past life regression. I mean, I could do it, but I'm not a seasoned expert and I don't do it a lot, or very, very seldom actually. So if you're specifically interested in past life, I'd say research a bunch of people and then see who you're drawn to do that. So if you're trying to remove a program, unlearn something from your cellular memory or your subconscious, hypnosis is, from my understanding, one of the most effective ways. There's someone I know from my old stomping grounds before I moved to my new city I'm in now. She's a hypnotherapist and a medium. And from what I understand, it's very effective. The only time it will not work at all is if your soul has decided it's not ready to let that go yet. That's one instance. It's probably fairly rare, but it has happened where, for example, some smokers, you've noticed they've tried everything and they're just, part of them is not willing. It comes down to free will. So that it would include their higher self, their soul journey. If they're not willing to really, really quit, it's not going to happen. You have to be wanting something is one thing, but you have to be willing to heal. So it can get a little bit complex because the soul has its kind of plan and its divine timing for things when they're done with certain things and moving on to the next thing. So yes, you can unlearn and deprogram. I just can't tell you how long and when. And the one rare instance is if your free will or your higher self decides, I'm not ready to let this go yet, it won't. But it's always worth trying. Like, you got to go for it and try anyway. So if you wanted to change a thing with food and that, there could be 1 thing, 2 things that are just in your way. So I think there's so much in the subconscious because we don't know what's going on in the subconscious. There's all sorts of stuff going on there that's programming, old programming that we can't just bring to mind because it's subconscious. So that's where we need help, or someone else's help, to dig in and figure out what it is. So if it's really getting in your way and bothering you, it's worth exploring a few different avenues to try and get to the root of it and again, get rid of it. Half the job is actually getting to the root cause. So if you can find the root cause or the issue, whether it's maybe, for example, you may have made a vow of poverty in another life. and in this life you just can't figure out why you can't make money, you got to go right back to that and release that vow of poverty or get rid of it. That's one example. So it gets very deep, but you got to at least try. So if it's really getting in your way in this lifetime, you got to do what you can with the options you have to figure out the root cause and get to it. So anyone can tell you, oh, eat this, don't eat that, and do this and do that, but that doesn't always work. Just hearing it in and out. You've got to have the will. You've got to be willing, not just wanting. You have to be willing to do it. And sometimes you're going to have to break those steps down into much, much smaller steps. So progress is progress. It doesn't have to be a race. You can start a little bit at a time. That may or may not work. You might need some extra help. For example, when I was talking about hypnosis or past life regression, sometimes you need both. And you'll only know once you start trying out a few different things. That's the thing. It's like going through a maze. You may have to hit a few dead ends first before you finally get your way out of it. Just kind of the nature of the human existence, I guess. So hope that helps you. So yeah, look into some of those options and see if you're drawn to anything. So do your research and see if your gut intuition is telling you, work with this person, look into that, try this, do that. Because it's not always it's not just a physical thing, it's emotional ties to it, energetic ties, past life ties, maybe. So, and it's a lot of discipline. Oh, part of it involves you being totally authentic, and that may involve going against the grain or being unpopular or doing the opposite to all of your closest friends. Sometimes that can be hard because we're social creatures. We're like a tribe, a pack. We're like a pack animal species. So when you have to go on your own and blaze your own trail and go against the grain, sometimes it's a bit too much and we don't want to do it. So it's all these little things that come into play. So like I call myself a hybrid sometimes. I'm kind of very half in the spiritual realm, and I'm very picky about my energy bodies, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, what I do with my what I do with all of my bodies. I'm very particular with that. But the other half of me is so extroverted and interested in people. It's like if it's an alien, I'm not even interested. That's probably why they don't talk to me hardly ever, because I find it boring. It's just I find it almost boring. I'm more interested in people. So I often love to people with the right people anyway. I'm both introvert and extrovert. I cannot be one or the other. I have to do both. I can last about 2 days maximum staying home and not seeing anybody. So I can, be at home, do my thing, and just not go out and be by myself in my house. But after 2 days, I start losing it. That's too much for me. So I have to do both. That's why I call myself a hybrid. I have to extrovert and introvert. It's can make it a bit hard to navigate with, I don't know what the nicest way, regular people or people because not all of my friends are fully open, fully spiritual. So I am kind of different in some ways. But yeah, it's, to each their own. It's whatever you've got going on in your path. Okay, it looks like there's either one or two people left. So I think I'm going to call it an evening now. And hope you join me next Thursday or next Sunday, whichever. And if you remember any questions, try and jot them down for next time. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all the good questions. Have a happy Sunday evening, and see you again soon. So Marie-Hélène and Joanne, thanks for joining in, and thanks for sharing. And yeah, we'll see you soon. And have a happy week ahead. And remember anything that comes to mind, try and remember to jot it down. And we'll work on that next time on the next session. Okay. So I'm signing off. Have a great night. Until next time. Bye for now.